Hi, it's Isabel from Blue Sapphire here. I am trying my very first response to a VR. This is the Cliché Tarot Reader response that was originally, I first tried it on Anna Astral Lady Tarot's channel. I am experimenting using my webcam, but that means that I'm sat at the desk in the middle of the house, and as you can see, life is behind me. So I don't have a tarot room, I don't have a spiritual space. I wanted to do this face on, but I don't have the luxury of a tidiness. So you can see, wrong side, this up here is the soldier that my daughter made in school that came home yesterday. We have boxes of hexagons. Normally there's lots of Lego up here as well, toys. In there, in that box, is now my stuff. And these are my Harry Potter models as well that I made at Christmas. And basically the rest is toys. Those are pictures of one of them, that's my niece. So yeah, just apologies for the background, but I suppose it detracts from my ugly mug, so that's fine. Anyway, Cliché tarot reader. So I am not a very experienced tarot reader. I am still learning. I don't really get much chance, but I adore cards. I love the artwork. I'm loving the tarot community that I found online, and it's been really special in the last 12 to 18 months to find this spiritual community to enhance my spirituality, alongside some work I was doing with my yoga teacher who branched out into some stuff as well. So I feel like actually I can respond to a lot of these tags that Anna made. She came up with about 11. I've got one or two others as well, but there are others I can't, but I think we're all the same. I will try to put the tags down below and video links for Anna's and a couple of other videos. I think Robin's done it, Toastal Tara James from Lemon Scante, can't say that word. So there's a couple of people who've done the tag, so I will try and tag it down below. So yeah, so Cliché tarot reader. So as I say, well, I keep saying I'm new to the community. What's interesting is that some of these tags brought back memories and thoughts to me. So I started looking at oracle and tarot cards seriously probably about this time last year. I've been doing yoga before lockdown, and my yoga teacher was starting to do in lockdown some short courses, and we did some things around chakra, and I started getting into crystals at that point. And I've had crystals in the past, and I then got my first oracle deck about this time last year, and by the autumn I'd got my first tarot deck, and now I have, well, actually I've just expanded into my second box full of them, which my husband was amused by the other day. I even had one come in this morning, although I was a bit disappointed by that one because I think it's a fake, which I'm really gutted by. But having said that, it's actually quite a good one in the sense that you can't tell so much, but I'm a bit annoyed. Anyway, that's beside the point. So I remember back when I was a teenager that actually I used to do a lot around kind of fortune telling, divination. I used to love quizzes around that. I used to have sets around that. I used to have books on dreams and all sorts of stuff, and I think I've always liked it. And that'll come out in some of the tags as well. What's interesting therefore is that I seem to fit into these, which is why I'm doing it. So the first tag, which is more interesting than my ramblings, was more than one version of a deck. And at first I thought, no, I don't have that because I haven't really got into it. And then I was like, actually, I do. So my first deck earlier in the year last autumn, was the Vivid Journey Tarot, which not many people show on channels. And that's an RWS based deck. Then as I started wanting to learn more and study and understand more, I wanted to do some study, so I thought, right, I'm going to get myself some proper RWS clones to do this. I can't afford dirty pans and whatever, and at the time I wasn't sure, so I started looking into them, and the first one I picked up currently lives in this Kelly Bear pouch because it came in a ridiculous cardboard box, and that is the very basic universal weight. So this came with the pictorial guide. It has some star backs, and it is as basic gets, really. I did quite a lot of research because I was quite keen to get ones with certain colours. What's interesting is that I actually find, and don't shoot me, particularly Simon, I actually find some of these really hard to get my head around and read with when I've been studying them. So I bought this deck, and I then also bought the Crackleback Tarot of a weight because I preferred the colours. So I was spent ages trying to find ones where I like the colours. So this is the pocket not the pocket version. I think it's called. It's the premium edition. Sure, it's the pocket size. So it has the Cracklebacks, and it's the small size. One of them's I can't remember. They're redrawn or relined. I did a lot of research at the time into the background of these. Trying to find one that I really liked, but you can see straight away the complete difference between these two cards, and I just find that completely bonkers. Anyway, so these are my two total Rider-Waite clones. I have lots of decks in the system. I have an Anna K version, but I only have these two. I sometimes look at others. I was quite drawn recently to the vintage tarot, and I may still get that. But what's interesting is I actually find these quite hard to read with, and so I bought them as a study tool to understand the Rider-Waite system. And I'll come on to that in one of the next tags. So I have two of these for study, but I don't have a big collection of them, and I actually quite like getting different types of decks. I don't want to have 10 of them. I'm not that into collecting yet, in that sense. So the second one is backup decks, and this then comes back to me being fairly new to this. I don't have backup decks. The only deck that I have a duplicate of is, having got the Vivid Journey and started watching TarotTube and getting into it, I put an order in. I did Waterstones, and when I put the order in, I picked up the Mini Everyday Witch. And sorry, apologies for the red light, that is actually the reflection of the webcam, so if I just do that you can see it. So I picked up this Mini Everyday Witch Tarot and absolutely love the cards, but what I then realised was that I didn't I'm still quite book focused, and particularly at that time, and I was like, okay, well I've got all these cards and they're all cute and I love the pictures, but I haven't a clue why the picture is the way it is or anything. Are you gonna focus, you stupid camera? So anyway, I then decided to get the full size. So in the Everyday Witch I have the mini and the full size, but that's not a backup as such, but it is two sizes of the same. But I don't have any backup decks yet, and I think that's because I don't have decks that are, I don't read for people. I don't take decks to shops to read for people, so I don't have a deck that's mine and a deck that's for clients, and I don't have like decks that are going to be hard to get, and therefore I'm going to get a second copy. So on the whole, I don't have any. So for tag number 2, no backup decks. However, I do have a mini and a large of this, and there's a couple of decks that I've seen where I've been a bit tempted to get the mini, but actually I find this one really small, but kind of the thought of having smaller versions for pocket versions or tin versions to take out. Tag number 3, tarot tattoo. I don't have any tattoos at all yet. I am very tempted, however I think that my first tattoo is more likely to be music based, because that has been something central to my life for many years. It was the sort of theme of my husband and I of our wedding, and therefore I think that would be. However, there are some symbols that I've kind of drawn to with the tarot, and therefore it may be in the future I get myself a couple of little tarot. I absolutely adore some of the tattoos people have got. I love the dream catcher. I think, is it Elaine's got a dream catcher? And but I'm not. One of the things I find as well is I'm a little bit fussy, and if I saw something drawn on my hand, I'd be constantly like trying to wipe it off, and I suspect it would annoy me, so I just have to be careful. But yeah, no, so no tattoos yet. Number 4 is a tea drinker. I expanded that to any kind of sort of drinking in the sense of tea or coffee. Yes, I think I do drink other teas. I like a couple of unusual teas. I tend to be more of a coffee or soft drink or water drinker. What I have noticed in watching the tarot videos is that everybody always has a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, or something like that, and alcohol for special occasions, but we all drink. I always have a drink, and in fact, looking around me now, my glass is empty, my coffee cup is empty. I need to rectify that when I've finished doing this before I go into some training, because I need to do some work. So yeah, so I think that's me. I have always drunk coffee, tea, not, yeah, so that matches. Crystals, oh yes. So my story from earlier was that this time last year, well, a couple of months ago in lockdown, I started doing some sessions online, and I started getting into crystals. And as you can see today, I have my carnelian on, which no, I bought when I was on holiday last summer from a store. I bought a bracelet with these 2 stones on, so that's Apatite and Tiger's Eye, but unfortunately the cord broke. So at the moment, because they're dead thin and I can't get them onto another cord, they're living with my carnelian. I haven't actually got my bracelet or my anklet on today. I've got others that float around, sat on my desk in front of me. So I have got others in a box, and actually my son has really got into them. So my son and daughter both have a crystal birthstone necklace that they wanted, and he comes home and he puts his on straight away, and he sits and wears it, and his is amethyst, and it's a real comfort to him. He absolutely loves it, and he has a box of crystals and he will sit and play with them. So I've got a few. I've got necklaces. I usually wear something every day. In front of me on my desk at the moment, I've got some obsidian, I think that one is. Can't remember. Darn. So, but anyway, I've got this one here. This has crystal in it, so it's like shungite and other crystals. This is a moss agate moon. I got a lapis lazuli pendant the other week. I've got this is my sphere, apatite sphere. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely. This is supposed to help me lose weight. Like that happens. Just eating a load of crisps. Oh well. This is an Apache tear stone that I got in a set at Christmas. That's for grief. I lost my mum last October, so this one's really unusual. So yeah, so I've got a few crystals sat. Oh, my pendulum as well. I've got my rose quartz pendulum here that I occasionally play with while I'm sat here. So I have quite a few crystals sat with me. I have some in my bag. So yeah, crystals are important. I want some bigger ones, but they're quite expensive. So yes, and crystals is something I've had before. So that's one of those things that I think I've always had, things like that. Number 6 is books, specifically tarot books. Down beside me I have a basket, and in that basket are some books. I shall just show you, and this is not all of them. So I have some books. I bought a book that's in my bag over there because I forgot to bring it over. So I bought a tarot book that I really like, actually. It's by Tina Wong of Labyrinthos. Then I got this one with my universal weight. I got the tarot bible because someone said, oh, that's a really good one. I thought I need to study the tarot, so I thought I'd try this one because this one got good reviews. The easiest way to learn the tarot ever. I actually find this hard. I started studying, and yeah, So I have been reading this book. I got really cheap online. My problem the last couple of months is that I haven't really had much headspace. So I think with things like this, I need to be able to concentrate, I need to be able to think. There's no point just reading it, and I just haven't got that. I also managed to get this. I had a voucher for a shop in the UK and they had this in. So I got this for a really good price, and I'm really excited about this. But as you can see, the bookmark is currently at the front of the book because I haven't got very far. I've got an Norman book, so yeah, I've got other books as well. We're doing about race stuff in work, so I'm supposed to be reading this for work, which is supposed to be really good. But yeah, I also keep seeing other books, excuse me, that I want, but my brain's going, there's no point because I haven't read the ones I've got, and so I'm trying to stop myself getting more with than I need. So yes, books, I adore books, and journals. So journals for sure. I have a small book that I started doing drawers in, daily drawers. I have a problem with time focus at the moment, so I'll go through a phase where every day I'll pull a card and write it down, and then it'll go months without. I said before I started studying, so I did some study with this friend. So this was a kind of journal of the things we were studying. This became a kind of tarot. This has like my interview spreads, and you know, I've got about 4 and I've now got about 20 decks, so that's how bad it is. So this was intended for interview spreads or for challenges or for big spreads. I then started doing my specific studies, so in here I got some stickers, and for each card I was writing down themes, and then for each card I was doing a page, and I was doing like keywords, themes, using the books I had. Then the idea was that I was going to take stuff from different decks and put it here. And this I started months ago, and this is why I bought those study decks. And so far, I've got up to the Empress. And then I've now started another journal. And this one is because I got a deck where my intuition was triggered, and I suddenly realised that I was reading the cards like really intuitively. So my intention in this one is to get that new deck I got called Inner Gems, and to just write literally, even if it's one word, some intuitive thoughts about the cards as a way of coming to know the deck. And I might do that with some other decks as well, just flick through the cards, and when something strikes me, write down the card and the deck. This was going to be my self-care one as well, but that hasn't worked. So yeah, I have notebooks and intentions coming out of my ears, and unfortunately I haven't really, and I've, yeah. So that's number 7, that's the journal. Number 8 was the shuffle. Actually, I will shuffle, but also I've got a lot of decks in order. What I quite like is just flicking through them more than anything, because when I shuffle they go everywhere. Number 9 is fairy lights. Yes, love fairy lights. I haven't got many in here, but certainly at Christmas my whole house is lit up, and I have got some around. I'm going camping in a week or so, yay! And my tent always has lights on it, and I want more for my tent. In fact, I need to go and get some more. So yes to fairy lights. Candles, oh yes, I have candles everywhere. We went through a phase where we couldn't use them because when my mum was around, she had oxygen on. She had oxygen tanks and stuff for a couple of years. I have got lots of candles. I used to use candles all the time when I was at university. I've not used them as much in the last few years. I think I don't sit very long, and as you can see, there's so much stuff in the house that there's not many surfaces to put them on. But yeah, candles is a big one. Tarot table was Anna's next one. Now I have a table that I dedicated as my little sacred space, but it's a low table that I repurposed from somewhere else. I have some nice stuff there. I have crystals, I have incense burners, My tarot goes where I go now, so I don't read at that table because it's too low. A couple of others I came up with. The next one is incense. I think we all have incense smudge sticks because a lot of them use them for clearing and cleansing, but I've all loved incense for years. I rooted out my box of incense that had been at the back of a cupboard when I started getting back into all this last year. I've got some behind me here, but we dog sit my brother's dog, and it's not great for him, so I tend to try not to use them when he's around. But incense, yes, and I really like the ones that discovered through watching some of the channels that don't have the wood, so the natural ones, because I get headaches really easily, and some of them fake scents and stuff don't work for me. Another one was storage, in the sense that I have seen so many tarot shelf videos, and most tarot readers have multiple decks, and those decks will be stored in tarot cupboards on tarot shelves that we rearrange, we tidy, we move things around, we put things in pouches. They don't just sit on a floor or a shelf, they tend to be somewhere stored. Mine are currently in baskets like the one that my books are in. I've just expanded into a third basket with books in one. I've got like notebooks and stuff up here. Anyway, so Cliché tarot reader. I will post the things down the bottom, and then I'm interested to hear more responses, because I actually quite liked hearing and seeing how many of us have the same responses. But in the meantime, stay safe everybody, take care, and I'll see you again soon.